the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Shalom, 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 Shabbat, shalom to my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. I am Elder Rakash Yar here live with our weekly Patreon update. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Now, I'm not going to be on here for long because we can only do a 1 hour Patreon. I usually say 1 hour, but who knows where the Spirit will take it. But usually I want to do a 1 hour Patreon, piggybacking off of the last broadcast we had. Have we successfully escaped the Democrat plantation? And based on my discussion today on Patreon, it's worse than I thought. Things is worse amongst the children of Israel, mainly the children of Judah, between the man and the woman. And it's worse than I could have imagined. I'm starting to believe that as men, I can only speak from the man's perspective, is that we have been totally naive to the dynamics of a relationship between our women. We've been totally naive. And let me explain what I'm saying. No one could ever think that even though there's problems between us, like there's problems in relationships between all races of people. But as a man, I could never think that a woman would seek to publicly come out to generally say that all black men need to be killed or poisoned based on their choice in an election, based on their choice to vote for whom they wanted to vote for. When I seen the dynamic after the election, I'm starting to understand that men in general, I know maybe it's me. I didn't think the divide was this wide. And the vitriol, man, this election is showing more than I've thought, when it comes to how far apart we are as a people in a time where we need one another. It's scary. Now, I do have some answers, according to the Bible, to why it's so. But I'm going to tell you, I didn't think it was this bad. And I'm going to talk about that on the other side on the other side with Patreon. The election revealed how wide of a divide there is between us. Boy, I can't believe it. But anyway, I'm going to talk about that on the other side, but I'm going to give you, a peek into what we're going to be reviewing on the other side. And maybe some of this is warranted. If so, please explain to me how some of the vitriol that's aimed towards destroying black men is warranted by our own women. Now, maybe there is an explanation to it, and if so, we need to get to the bottom of it. Right? Now, before I go into that, let me first state that, yes, some good stuff. The fall of the last empire, for the first time taught in our Hebrew and Bible Academy, beginning this coming Sunday. Starting 9 a.m., and I hope you all can be a part of this. Prophecies revealed. Understand in real time where we are as far as news is concerned. Hebrew, news, prophecy, all in one place. The Hebrew and Bible Academy starts this Sunday. We are extending the enrollment time because enrollments are coming in like crazy right now. And so we're going to extend the time. We're going to keep it open, right? Because we did extend it. Well, we did say that we would have it up to the 8th, which is midnight tonight. But we're going to let the Sabbath do what it do and pick it up after the Sabbath. So please, if you want to enroll, we're going to extend the enrollment beyond tonight, and you can get in up until the class start 9 a.m. Sunday. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Starting November 10th is World War III impending. How will this impact all of us? The path to the mark, the return of the hidden gods, the fall of America. And I'm going to really dive into the technology when it comes to the path to the mark, where Elon Musk fits into this. So it's no coincidence that him and Trump is tied at the hip, and we're going to talk about that. Some people might think because I come down on the Democrats that we are Republican, but that's not at all. Okay? We understand that Democrat and Republican are two wings of the same eagle. Either wing of the eagle. But the reason why I concentrate on Democrats is because that's the party that has our people in delusion. That's the party that have a grip on the minds of God's people. And we must shake loose from the crazed liberals to be saved. They're anti-God, outright, anti-family. They radicalize women against their own men. They are pro-gay. They are pro-everything the Bible is against. And you know what? It's overt. They don't even try to hide it. And I believe they have intentionally attached our people to that degeneracy. That's the reason why I focus on the Democrats. I'm not Republican. But why should I focus on a party that our people have really no affiliation with? I must focus on who? The people who are in our house destroying us. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Now, we're going to pick it up from where we left off on the other side. The phones will be open. Zoom will be open. And we're going to ask, have we escaped the Democrat plantation? I'm going to tell you, I like where this is trending with our people, especially the men who are walking away from the Democrats. Now, if they go Republican, guess what? That's their choice. They pay their taxes. but at least they are moving outside of a serious, evil, wicked party that's anti-God. And guess what? They don't apologize about it. They want to go into our schools, put dresses on our sons, turn our daughters into crazed men, separating the family. They're over the family courts in our communities. They finance the degeneracy that's in our neighborhoods. So I am encouraged that men are waking up. Now, the election revealed that there's a divide between us, and I'm going to talk about that before transitioning over. What's behind, a matter of fact, let me correct this spelling here. There's an apostrophe there. What's behind the hatred and divide within Judah? What's behind it? What do I mean? If anything, and I'm going to show you biblically that this is prophetic, what's going on here. I'm going to show you the hypocrisy that I'm hearing with this vitriol against men because they chose to go another way. During the whole time running up into this election, you had all our people, Charlemagne the No God, and other people saying that, well, the other guy is a threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy, even though we are living in an republic. But I digress. We understand what they mean. That the Republicans is trying to take away our freedom and rights that our forefathers died for us to receive. Now, they'll say that, but then they'll begin to attack us for exercising the rights we have based on what our foreparents died for. Now, you can't have it both ways. If someone made a choice outside of you, isn't that them exercising democracy? Oh, I know what it is. We're supposed to follow the women. And see, no one can say that out loud. Black men are supposed to follow their women. And if we don't, there's hell to pay. And guess what? Those times is over. Because at one time, I grew up believing that women, to some degree, and not all, were doing things because they had to, because men weren't stepping up, as I was hearing. Well, if men step up to go a different direction, shouldn't you follow? Or it wasn't about that at all? Was it always about controlling the men? So let's talk about it real quick. And I'm going to show you why I'm talking about this. And guess what? I know there's some good women. I know there's women who fear the Most High. I know there's women who's tired of this liberal garbage. I understand that. A matter of fact, I wouldn't be around a woman who think otherwise. The women in this church understand the order of God. See? But all in all, it's the wicked ones who's sucking all the air out of the room and have a louder voice than everyone else. I'm going to tell you, it's more of them, like good men, it's more of them that are against men. Let me put it that way. Than are on board. Why am I going here? Man, I couldn't believe what I was hearing here. I couldn't believe, brothers and sisters, what I was hearing. And there's a lot of these What's behind this hatred? Listen to this. Listen to this.
I might get some violations and I may offend some people with what I'm going to say, and I don't give a f. To all you Latinos that voted for Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family. Whether you were here legally or not, you got to go. I hope he does that. To you Black men who your fragile ego couldn't take a Black woman in office, so you either voted for Trump or you didn't vote at all. The police will now have carte blanche to murder you right where you stand. And when they do that, there's not going to be no GoFundMes. Don't ask your family to ask us for shit. Just die. They can't afford to bury you. Dig a hole in their backyard. It is what it is.
Wow.
But don't expect sympathy. Don't expect protest in the streets. We're not doing that. Black women, we're done with. We're done. We did our due diligence for this century and the next. We've done enough. We're not doing anymore. To you white women that once again voted against your interests, when your husbands start knocking you into the middle of next week and you can't do anything about it because no fault divorce is in play, I want you to take those black eyes and those busted lips as a personal thank you from Donald J. Trump each and every time you get hit. Take it. Don't look for nobody else. Don't ask for help. Take your beatings. For all of y'all that voted for Trump, I hope you get exactly what you voted for. Because the only thing he did was to make America great for the people that it was great for from the beginning, white men. That's what he did. He couldn't run the risk of whiteness no longer being the default, not being allowed to fail up. So when you're bleeding out somewhere and there's a medical emergency and you can't get no help, women who voted for him, don't take it. You just gotta die. If you got kids, they just gonna be motherless. It is what it is. You didn't give up, so we don't give. That's how it is. This isn't America anymore. I don't know what the it is, but it's not gonna be America. And if you think that Trump is gonna be in that office for 4 years, you're insane. Because we're about to be in a real live action episode of scandal. Because your next president is not Donald Trump, it's J.D. Vance. Because trust and believe, within a year, you're not going to see Trump anymore. He's either going to be, and they're going to say it's illness or he died in his sleep, it's natural causes because he's old enough, or they just going to let him spaz out and do the 25th. And that's when we're really going to be in the Handmaid's Tale. So I really hope all of you who voted for him, you get exactly what the you deserve.
I have a few questions, and hopefully, brothers and sisters could help me on the other side. What creates a woman like this? What makes a woman like this to even think with all this vitriol and hatred against other people? Folks, let me tell you, too long we've been making excuses for people who think like this. Oh, she's just upset right now. Oh, she don't really mean it. When are we going to accept that she means it? These are the people that the Satanists align themselves with to destroy our children inwardly, because we continue to deny this type of vitriol and hatred exists. Now, to get to the bottom of why she's like this, someone will probably have to ask her. Right? But all in all, on the outside of us, we cannot make excuses for people like this. So maybe someone out there can give me some insight. Because this is not the only one. I got about 3 or 4 more that we're going to actually listen to together. And I'm not even going to interrupt it. I'm going to let the whole thing play, just like this one. One woman was in a car giving out the ingredients of how to poison black men in their sleep. But I'm going to show y'all something. And thank you, Bishop Shamal, for sending this to me. Really thank you. Christ stated this, Matthew 24:12. Now, I got these scriptures before I seen the text that Bishop Shamal from New York sent me when it comes to the last woes that's written of in 2nd Baruch when it speaks of commotions. But here's some prophetic explanation to why we have these deranged women operating and saying anything out of their mouth. Even if it's self-detrimental. That's a woman who doesn't even care about herself. She's actually putting out there that she think that something should happen to the president, not realizing that somebody can be knocking on her door. That's how much self-awareness she has. But I'm going to tell y'all, but she's really, we may look at her and think that that's a one-off, but brothers and sisters, we all knew people in our neighborhoods that we grew up who was like this and would talk like this and would ignore it. And would ignore it. Because we really don't want to see our people like this. A matter of fact, even though we knew some of these things existed amongst us, we would never outright in public just throw the underbellies of our community out there as if she's the example of all of us, because we understood that that existed. But the problem is we never did anything about it. You know why we didn't do anything about it? Because we can't. Anybody who would be with that woman and stand up to that woman to put her in her place, 911 will be dialed before what? It will be dialed before a man can actually try to figure out what's going on in this house. And you know what? That's what they wanted. They wanted to have a controlled scenario over the Judite man, to where we can be disrespected without consequences. Because we don't do what women want us to do who are deranged, we're the enemy. The Bible states this. Christ even said what? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So we don't got too many things. There's not too many prophecies have to happen before Christ returns. Because this is one of the major ones where there's no love amongst God's people. Even if those thoughts would come to your mind. She didn't even have enough self-awareness not to even say it. Over a woman, an East Indian that wouldn't pee on her if she was on fire. She would rather go against her black men. And then claim, well, we're the least protected women. and then try to claim we're the least protected. Who can protect that? Who? So when the Bible says the love of many shall wax cold, let me show y'all something real quick. That's straight out hatred in this woman. And guess what? She's not alone. But I'm going to tell you, the difference between what happened this year after the election and before, well, the Bible stated that we would be in a stupor, which is one of the prophecies that are leading to Christ's return. And I believe some of that was in the juice that they gave people, where they don't even have enough common sense to hold their tongue. Let me tell you, folks, under the stupor, people are just going to say what's in their mind, what they would normally hide, so that everyone will out here understand where they stand, where they stood. So the stupor takes away self-awareness. And now we're hearing. Now we're starting to understand why things have went to trash amongst our people. Because people are saying the things that was unspoken. But guess what? They always thought like this and acted on it. It's the love of many shall wax cold. Listen to this. Christ. And he said, this is Luke 21:8. Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. And the time draweth near. It's speaking about some of these fake Christians. Because I bet you that woman would claim that she believed in Christ. Go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. For these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Now, what does it mean? What did Christ mean that here's a sign of commotions? And how do I tie this into that woman I've just shown you and the other women who's wishing serious harm on our boys? I'm going to show y'all that today. What does that mean? Well, when you look into the Strong's Concordance, that commotion is what? That commotion, brothers and sisters, is akastasia, which is instability, disturbance, upheaval, a revolution, almost anarchy. That's what that woman was talking about. Becoming an anarchist. If we don't get our way, we'll just topple everything. We'll topple the community if we can't get our way. We'll help destroy our own people if we don't get our way. If men try to take the lead, we'll just turn over the whole table because we're not going back. First, in the political, Black Lives Matter, anyone who are crazed Marxists, lesbian black women who are trained Marxists to do what? To turn over the community, to turn it up. Their intentions were to destroy all the places we live, thinking that it would never come back. It was because of that Esau and Amalek could regenify all of those areas quickly after they opened up after the virus. So these black women claim it was something about black men that they were going to march for, when really it was tearing up the community so that the corporations can come in and kick us out and regenify the area. So this is what happens when you get a people in our communities in position of control who doesn't care about their own people. And the proof is, it starts with them not caring about their men. First in the political, and thence in the moral sphere. Immorality. That's what Christ said we must look to before his coming. By and by. And I'm going to tell you, I said it earlier, brothers and sisters, I truly believe that we have downplayed how many of our people in the community are on antidepressants, and how that's playing a deep part, a serious part probably, in them not being able to control what they say. Even if they're thinking it. And it's women like this who are operating depressed, and because probably things didn't work out the way she thought it should have worked out in her life, guess what? Let me show you. She don't care if the whole thing topples. And here's the deep thing. And you know, like I said, these numbers, if you look at it, even if you don't deal in politics, the numbers based on the polls sends a message to where people's minds are in the world. And I'm going to show you something. And I'm looking at prophecy, so I look at everything. And I think someone starts out of their mind crazy if they're saying that you believe in the Bible and you shouldn't be looking into politics. That's an idiot. Okay? That's an idiot. How can you understand prophecy if you don't know what's going on politically in the earth? Okay? When Pharaoh made a decree to kill the young children in Israel, that was a government decree for depopulation. That was politics. When Joseph seen that there would be a 7-year famine, and he prepared the earth by storing food, that was government planning for a disaster. That's politics. So when you hear people say, well, you believe in the Bible or the religion, and listen, religion has nothing to do with it. That's what's wrong with you. Anyone in the Bible is looking at politics closely, who really understand the word of God. These numbers tell me everything I need to know. Right here. Of the mindset of our people, where 89% of women would vote for this woman who don't care about them at all. And it's a shame that we have to take our sons going to have to take the backlash of this. Even though 74% of black men who did vote, voted for this woman, because these are weak men who would vote for her. And that's what they want. They want to, in the community, they have programmed our women to accept only weak men. And even those weak men are under threat by women like we've just listened to. What create women like that? I want y'all to answer the questions on the other side. What create, on Patreon, answer that question. Let me tell you, Trump don't care and Kamala cares. What they care more so about is through their politics, they're dividing the children of Judah. But it takes things like this happening for us to see how grave of a situation we're under now. And now I can understand in Isaiah, the 2nd and 3rd chapter, in the 3rd chapter, how it's going into the fact that there's going to be a lack of men left in the earth. Now I understand. There will be no protection for our women because the men are going to die in number. And it's going to be our women also helping that number. And that's what I didn't want to accept. That was the naive part of it all. I was naive into believing that women wouldn't think about killing black men, would they? Not their own family, not their own brothers. Until I seen a video where a sister came out and was giving out what? The ingredients on TikTok on if they want to get rid of black men because black men aren't supporting black women by voting against Kamala. She started giving concoctions for black women to poison black men. Brothers and sisters, you all can ignore it and think this is a one-off if you would like. The Bible tells you that we would be living in some crazy times. And because men, when men decide, black men in particular, when we decide to stand up and say, you know what, we are going to take control of our families. We are going to take the lead. Guess what, folks? It's not going to be the white man trying to stop us. I'm going to tell you that right now. He don't have to. I'm going to tell you, I don't want to ever hear about this stuff about men is trying to control and all this others. Nah. I'm starting to see what's really going on. And we've been silent about it forever. We've never had control in the United States. It's the Willie Lynch syndrome. And if we choose to break away and take control for the sake of self-preservation, we have to fight our people first, unfortunately. We have to fight our people first. So we're going to go on the other side and open this up. And we're going to talk about it. What creates women like that? Now, not just her. We're going to have other women from the same clip who's going to give us going to tell us what they really feel about black men because Kamala lost the race. Okay? And then we're going to talk about prophetically what this means because, folks, there's a lot of crazy school teachers, okay, that we must leave our children to who think like that. Now you see why they would rather. Because don't forget, folks, our sisters in the school system isn't stopping those white liberals from coming in with that teaching of switching our boys to girls. They're not stopping them. They're not standing up against it. Teaching the alternative lifestyle to our little boys. Our sisters aren't against that, especially if the boy grow up, he'll vote and operate politically like she want him to. You don't have to worry about a gay black man not voting your interest. So therefore, why would they stop the school systems from transitioning your sons? It just gives them more control. At least that boy gonna grow up and vote like his mama. Let me tell you, folks, can you imagine if a brother if a Judite man was to get online and say what this woman said publicly. Can you imagine? But I digress. I'll pray for her. I'll pray for her. But we still have to understand the mindset of these crazed people who are in positions to make influence over our children. Because she's not alone. I'm going to tell you that now. But it took something like this to wake us up, to not be naive to what has always destroyed us from the inside. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm going over to Patreon. We're going to look at the rest of these videos. I'm only going to be on for about an hour today, so I will immediately open up the lines. 515-605-9327. 515-605-9327. I will immediately open up the lines and we'll talk about this. I'll have the Zoom ready available for you to come in through Zoom if you can't do it through the phone. Also, let me mention again, the Academy starts this Sunday. First week, we'll be going into the creation of the universe and portals, how the angels or the spirits come into this realm. This coming Sunday. And guess what? The whole 12 weeks will have a theme, the fall of the last empire. That's right. The fall was prophesied from the beginning. So we're going to talk about this and more. We can only pray for our people, folks. I'm going to tell you, it's irreparable. There's no repairing our communities, folks. There's no repairing it. It's over. Only a remnant of us will make it out of it. You would very well get killed by your own people trying to save them. Christ, anyone? See you on the other side. Patreon.com/agathering144. See you on the other side. Let's go to Patreon. I'll see you tomorrow in the Sabbath. And also, let me see the topic of discussion tomorrow for the Sabbath. For the Sabbath, let's see. Oh, yeah. For the Sabbath, we have a Sabbath lesson that will be titled, Closing the Door to the Dark Side. What are we going to show? We're going to show what opens the door where darkness comes in to destroy us all. Closing the door to the dark side. How they've taught our people to use superstition and magic to our own detriment. Tomorrow for the Sabbath. You don't want to miss that. Okay? See you on the other side. Shalom. Patreon.com/agathering144. Come on in, my loyal Patreonies. Let's talk about it. What's behind this hatred and divide? Shabbat Shalom. Oh, yeah. We're going to be teaching on the streets during the holiday season and all that. For the last 3 months, you'll be seeing uploads on that, the interactions with people, all of that. So I'm going to start teaching early soon from the church, leaving out of the church like 12 p.m., getting out by 1:32 p.m. to teach, and we'll be on the street until the sun go down or more in the streets of Philadelphia. So I hope you all are ready. We're going to give them heaven. Shalom. Let's go over to Patreon. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.